Hey everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome back to my Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Let's Play. In the last episode, we got to, well, re-meet Caster, as we know who Caster is, but in this route, this is the first time that Shiro has encountered her. She ended up controlling his body and bringing him to the Ryoto Temple, and is trying to take over his body. Saber obviously realized something was up, so she rushed over there and is stopped by Assassin. So pretty similar to the previous route where Assassin and Caster are working together. So given how Assassin was taken out pretty quickly, pretty easily in the last route, I don't know if he's going to have more screen time. I hope he does, because he's a pretty mysterious character. So hopefully we'll get some more of Assassin in this one, but yeah, Shiro's not in a good spot right now. He's being controlled by Caster. She's trying to take his command spell. Obviously things are going to work out, but it's a matter of like how the fight is going to go this time, so I'm excited to see the fight. So we're going to get back into it and see what happens next. Caster extends her finger. I want to fight back, but my body won't move. My limbs can't move freely, and my senses are being taken away, and I'm sure she will eliminate me.
Sayonara, boya. 悔やむのなら、その程度の力量でマスターになったことを悔やみなさい。
My body does not move and accepts the finger of death. I resist the urge to close my eyes and keep glaring at Caster.
あら、いい子ね。そういう頑張りは嫌いではありませんよ。
Caster sneers at my resistance and puts her finger on my command spell. Even my free will is numbing, and my fading consciousness. Clang. I hear a sound like crashing swords from the other side of the mountain gate. What kind of a miracle is it? I hear tens of sounds cutting through air and numerous arrows. Archer's coming to save me. Probably not to save me, probably to take out Caster, but also to save me. Numerous arrows pierce the ground in front of me. Caster instantly retreats, her robe fluttering behind her. There are arrows pierced in the ground in front of Caster. The 13 arrows were shot from above. They were probably all shot at the same time, and I'm sure it would have gotten Caster if there had been one more arrow. The owner of the arrows is standing on top of the mountain gate. The knight in red jumps down to the ground empty-handed. He'd be like, don't think I'm here to save you. I'm here to take out the other master. Or maybe if Rin knew that this was happening, she'd be like, don't kill him. We're in a truce. The man, Archer, says so while standing in front of me as if to protect me from Caster. After he says so, I check my hand. It moves. My frozen body has its freedom returned with just one attack by Archer.
それは結構。あとは好きにしろ。と言いたいところだが、あれに殺されたくなければ、しばらくそこから動かぬことだ。あまり考えなしに動くと。
アーチャーですって？アサシンめ何をしていたの？
そら、見ての通り、八つ当たりを食らうことになる。女の劇場というのは、なかなかに凝しがたい。まったく、少しばかり手荒いことになりそうだ。
Archer laughs. I can't tell how serious he is.
さて、そう怒るなキャスター。アサシンならば、セイバーと対峙している。あの侍、何者かは知らんが、セイバーを押しとどめるとは大した剣豪だ。
I like this. I like that they're completely different matchups from before. It's like, yeah, Saber is still fighting Assassin, but Caster versus Archer. This is a new one.
むしろ褒めてやるべきではないか。
Even though he's facing his enemy, there is no tension in Archer. Castor must have noticed that as well. She regains her calm.
ふざけたことを。あなたを止められないようでは英雄などとは呼べない。
Yeah, it's like she's
あの
using
男、
she's
剣
using
豪を名乗らせるには実力不足です。
So maybe she took the command spell of whoever Assassin's master is and now has him as well? Can a servant have a servant?
ほう、その言いぶり。
Okay,
アサシンが
ally.
自分の仲間だとでも言いたげだが、やは
Oh,
り協
masters
力し
must
合
be
っているのか。
cooperating. I don't
君
know.
たちのマスター
We
は
know that Castor, at least in the last one, she killed her master.
そうでなくてはこの状況に説明がつかん。一つの場所に二人のサーバントが今日構えるなどとな。
Castor is staring at Archer silently. I can't see her expression hidden behind the robe, but it seems that she's bewildered.
ああじゃあ今の本当か。アサシンとキャスターのマスターが
How
協
is that
力し合
so
ってるっ
weird?
て。
You and Rin are cooperating. It's not out there.
ああ、門の外を守るアサシンと門の内に潜むキャスター、この両者が協力関係なのは明白だろう。マスター同士が協力し合うのも珍しいことではない。現にお前とリンとで手を結んでいる。
Archer, don't tell them that. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we know each other, but maybe that's information that you should keep to yourself. He's right now that he mentions it. Then that means that there are two masters here?
何を言い出すかと思えば、
Oh,
随
maybe
分
she
と
is
的
gonna
外
say
れ
here
な
like,
ことを言う
no,
の
I
ね、
control
じゃあ
assassin. Or like, my master controls both of us.
なんだ、違ったか。参ったな。君たちが仲間だというのは確信だったのだが。
ええ、見当違いも甚だしいわ。仲間ですって。私があの犬と協力し合う。私の
With
手
the
駒
man
に過
under
ぎない
my
あの男
control.
と。
Right? She's acting like she's more of a master than a servant. Castor does not stop laughing. Her laugh is so unsuitable that the tense atmosphere disperses. In contrast, Archer is gritting his teeth. He sensed something that was not there before. It's not Castor's enmity, nor the magical energy surrounding this place. For the first time since he came to this place, Archer is showing his... Enmity is a word I've literally never heard of until I played this game. I'm gonna look this up. Because I don't know what this word means, or if I'm saying it. Okay, it's the state of feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or...
そう、あなたの予感は正しいですよ、アーチャー。私のマスターは誰とも手を組んでなどいないし、アサシンのマスターも同じ。いいえ、そもそもアサシンに
okay,
マスタ
there we
ーな
go,
ど
confirmation.
存在しない
Assassin
ので
doesn't
すか
have
ら
a
ね。
master. Assassin doesn't have a master? What does that mean? Every servant needs a master to exist. Weren't they supposed to disappear if they didn't have a supply of magical energy from their master? So is she able to provide magical energy to Assassin to keep him in the world, but then like she's controlling him, or like
キャスター、
how is
貴
this
様。
how is this possible?
まさかルールを破ってなどいませんわ。だってサーバントを呼び出すのは魔術師でしょ。ならキャスターである私が
Oh.
サーバントを呼び出して何の不都合
Oh,
があるの
okay.
です。
Wait, so Assassin never had a true master in the first... Wait, what? The witch in the black robe laughs. That means Servant Assassin is a heroic spirit summoned by Castor. Okay, so I was right about him being her servant, but I assumed that she had killed Assassin's master and then, like, took control.
サーバントを操るサーバントか。なるほど。ならばこその架空の英雄か。まっとうなマスターに呼び出されなかったアサシンは、本来呼ばれるべき暗殺者以外のものをアサシンにしてしまった。それは構わん。元となる英霊が誰であろうと、敵は倒すのみ。だが、それは貴様の独断ではないのか、キャスター。
聞きましょう。なぜそのような結論が出せるのです、アーチャー。
何？ ただの直感だよ。その魔術師が自分より優れた魔術師を使い魔にした場合、そこにあるのはただの主従関係ではあるまい。マスターが自身より優れたキャスターを警戒するのは当然だ。私が貴様のマスターであるのなら魔女に自由など与えない。マスター
Oh,
本人で
so
はなく
he's sussed out the fact that maybe that her master's already dead.
強化するはずがない。
それなりの知恵は働くようですね。いいわ。その賢さに免じて今の暴言は聞き流しましょう。
Castor stares at Archer as she laughs. There's only enmity between the two now. Take a drink every time the word enmity shows up. They're about 7 meters apart. With the charge that Archer showed at school, he should be able to slash Castor even before she could finish casting a spell.
納得がいった。セイバーやランサー、ライダーは強力な対魔力を持っている。ここの男の高魔力など比べ物にならない。次元違いの対魔力だ。彼らにはあらゆる魔術が効きづらい。故に魔術師である君では彼らに太刀打ちできない。となれば策略に走るのは当然だったな。ルールを破り自らの手でアサシンのサーバントを呼ぶ。この土地に今日構え町の人間から魂を収集する。自らは戦わず町中に張った目で戦況を把握する。
She's like a camper, basically.
これだけのことをするのだ。当然自分のマスターは拘束しているのだろうな。ここの間抜けなマスターのようにとっくに操り人形というわけだ。
The insult's not necessary, sir. She smiles. That sends a chill up my spine. She's not only collecting magical energy from the people in town, she's even treating her master as an object like she treated me. Castor's dangerous. She's not a pure threat like Berserker, but she's the most troublesome enemy as she worsens the situation without showing herself.
ええ、あなたは正しいわ、あーちゃん。けれど私があなたたちにかなわないというのは間違いよ。聖杯戦争に勝つことなんて簡単ですもの。私が手を尽くしているのは単にその後を考えているだけ。あなたたちを恐れて策を浪しているわけではないわ。
ほう。サーバントを倒すのはたやすいと言ったな、キャスター。
言ったわ。ここなら私は誰よりも強いもの。バーサーカーやセイバーならいざ知らず、アーチャー程度ではかすり傷さえ負わせられないでしょう。それよりあなたの方こそ逃げる算段を立てなさい。一度目は許した。けれど二度目はなくてよ。私を魔女と呼んだ者には相応の罰を与えます。
Castor's robe distorts. The magical energy in the air becomes a dense fog and covers Castor's body. With it in front of him.
面白い。かすり傷さえ負わぬと言ったな。
I feel like she's baiting him into something. Archer murmurs in delight.
ええ、あなたでは私に触れることさえできないでしょう。
The black shadow answers. The knight in red laughs.
では一撃だけ。それで無理ならあとはセイバーに任せよう。
He sprints like the wind to Castor. The red shadow runs. I don't know when he got them, but in Archer's hands are those weapons. The twin swords. He does not allow time for any spell casting. Archer closes in on Castor even before she could raise her hand. And he slashes Castor in half with his swords. That's not gonna be... Maybe she casts like a substitute or a copy of herself. I mean, she should have known he was gonna be quick. The robe cut in half scatters in the wind. That's not gonna be it. That would be so disappointing. Archer appears disappointed, standing in front of the enemy he slashed so easily. It must be because it was so easy. She talked so big, yet lost without even attacking him once. No, he's gonna be like, she's got something planned. This was probably a trap. Anybody would lose their spirit. Archer still holding on to his swords. His red clothing, his black and white short swords are beautiful, and they captivate me. This is strange. Am I captivated by those swords? Those twin swords. They must be great swords with history, but I feel no malice from them. Noble phantasms are excellent weapons, so it's natural they're beautiful. If I could see Saber's sword, I bet it would be magnificent. But they're not like that. Fighting spirit that intends to beat others. Desire to be famous. Competitive spirit that tries to beat another weapon. Faith to accomplish some great deed. The sense of purpose found in famous swords and demonic swords is not in these. They were made because somebody wanted to make them. Unrefined twin swords made without a will, as if to question the meaning of the swordsmith. The hexagonal pattern almost looks like... No, not quite. I was thinking it looks like the magic circuit, but no, that's not quite it. Magic circuits are more of like lines. I think those swords are like that. Mirrored swords without vanity, black and white strange swords that represent yin and yang. I'm captivated because their existence is just too beautiful. Caster's slashed body disappears. As Archer starts to put his weapons away after seeing it.
残念ね、アーチャー。あなたが本当にその程度だったなんて。
Archer better not get killed right here. I'd be so sad. That won't be the case. Come on. Caster's voice echoes through the empty temple. Archer jumps. This is exactly like what happened here a while ago. The light bullets appear from the sky to pierce Archer, and Archer knocks them down with his swords. No, this isn't like before. The ground is scorching red. The magical energy in that small light is about 3 times my full magical energy. Even Archer would have had his body blown away if he took a direct hit. Oh, damn. There we go. We get to see Caster kind of at her full... She says not to call her a witch. What does that look like then? She looks almost like a bat. But yeah, like even in the last one, it feels like we didn't really get to see Caster at her full power. It feels like this is like between Archer and Caster, like, and hopefully Assassin too. We're gonna get to see, though Assassin's not quite like a full spirit, right? Maybe that's why, yeah, he's so weak and got taken out so easily. Also, Assassins tend to be like the weakest of the classes. But yeah, it feels like this is a redemption for the other servants that didn't really get to have their really cool moments. There's no moon and seas of clouds are drifting through the night sky. The black magus floats in the middle as if reigning over the heavens.
空間転移か固有実制御か。どちらにせよ、この境内ならば魔法の真似事さえ可能ということか。見直したよ、キャスター。いや、大口を叩くだけはある。
Archer readies his swords while looking up at Caster.
そうですか。私は見下げ果てたわ、アーチャー。使えると思って試してみたけど、結果がこれではアサシン。
That's the ultimate insult. You're worse than Assassin, and he sucks.
耳に痛いな。次があるのなら、もう少し気を利かせるが。
まさか。愚か者に次などありません。あなたはここで消えなさい、アーチャー。
Archer starts off. He sprints to get away from Caster, to get out of this place.
逃げ切れると思って。
Caster moves her wand. After the wand targets Archer, something ridiculous happens before me. Nobody can hear me say, no way. Caster's attack is a rain without pause. The shooting lights are no different from a bombing raid. Each magic is a deadly attack, and Caster is shooting them off like rain. This is like what happened to her last time, except she got pierced by Gilgamesh. I may be an amateur, but even I can understand how ridiculous this magic is. It's more like great magic. To activate it, one needs a simple magic circle and a 10 count, a spell casting of more than 10 verses. Because great magic is strong, casting it takes time. A normal magus would take about a minute to cast such a big magic. Even a magus that could use high-speed casting would take 30 seconds or so. But she did it in an instant. She didn't even cast the spell, but just pointed her wand, and she's shooting them off in rapid succession. I can't even think of someone who could compare with her.
A ランクの魔術をここまで連発するとはよほど魔力を溜め込んだな。
He must not be able to avoid them anymore as he runs while deflecting them with his swords. Archer tries to run out of the temple, but he changes his course midway.
マルケ！貴様、いつまでそこに突っ立っている？
Archer charges at me with a scary expression. That makes me realize the place I'm standing isn't safe at all now. I'm already in the range of the shooting lights.
くそ、なんだってこんな手間を。
Archer comes at me. The instant I try to avoid him by jumping back, my body's flying through the air. I try to shake him off in reflex. I can't believe it. Archer is running while carrying me?
おろせバカ！何考えてんだお前！
知るものか。いいから黙っていろ。お前に言われると自分のバカさ加減に頭を痛めるわ。バカが。
バカ？お前自分がバカだって分かってるのに人のことバカ呼ばわりするのかよ。バカ。
えい、ガキか貴様。バカでガキとはもはや手がつけられん。せめてどちらかに決めておけ、たわけめ。
Archer must be frantic as his words make no sense. I've been saved by him, but I can't accept this.
いいから話せ。これぐらい一人で何とかする。
God damn it,
お前
Shiro.
の手なんて
Like,
借りない。
you really can't take care of this yourself. With what? No, more than that. I can't stand to be a burden on him. Archer should have been able to escape by now if he were by himself. But the exit is farther now that he came to save me. He must be an easy target for Caster as she's above us.
あーちゃん、聞いてるのか、お前。
そうか。なら遠慮はいらんな。
Then, Archer suddenly kicks me off of him. My body hits the ground. He must have kicked me hard as I fly at least 5 meters. I bear my pain and get back up. Archer has stopped. The shooting lights have stopped as well. The only thing here is the freezing air.
あいつ。
Finally notice. Oh! Archer's surroundings have stopped as if everything's frozen.
気分はどうかしら、あーちゃん。いかに三騎士といえど、空間そのものを固定化されていては動けないのではなくて？
Caster sounds as if she has already won. Archer doesn't move at all, and maybe he can't even talk.
どうやらこれで爪のようね。外にはセーバーもいることですし、これ以上あなたにかける時間はないわ。どこの英雄だったかは知らないけど、これでお別れよ、あーちゃん。
And is Shiro gonna run in and try and help him? Caster raises her left arm. Her hand shoots the bullet of light. But right before that, or Saber gonna jump in, Archer murmurs something. Or is Rin going
何
to
かしら、
come
あー
in?
ちゃん。命乞いなら聞いてあげても。
と言ったのだ、キャスター。
He sounds irritated when I try hard to catch his voice.
たわけ。かわせと言ったのだ、キャスター。
Archer jumps as he yells. He must have broken the frozen space with his powers. Archer disappears from our vision, leaving a sound like breaking glass behind him.
何よ、バカ。
Caster is perplexed by Archer's scream. And to the right and left of her, a white and black light are aiming for Caster. Caster's robe is cut off. It must be because Caster reacted to Archer's yell as she manages to narrowly avoid the attacks. It does not need to be said, but the things attacking her are Archer's twin swords. At that instant, Archer threw his swords right before he kicked me and fell into Caster's spell. The cast swords made an arc and attacked Caster in the sky.
さすがアーチャーってところか。ってあいつどこに？
I'm speechless for sure this time. It must be the same for Caster. The knight in red already has Caster in a checkmate. He has his knee on the ground and is readying a bow towards the sky. His target is Caster, and the arrow on it is the demonic sword that shot Berserker.
I am the bone of my soul.
Archer's voice shakes the air. Castor casts a spell in a rush. Seeing it,
カラドボルグ
Archer shoots his arrow. Well, there we go. We got the name of his noble phantasm. Nope, is that one down? Did we get her? Well, she didn't last very long. Is that his noble phantasm? The arrow distorts space itself. Castor's moaning fills the air. The storm-like arrow has easily penetrated Castor's defense. Guessing from that distortion in space, I bet Castor would have been twisted along with space itself even if Castor had transported herself. But Castor is still alive. Her black robe is scattered, and the body underneath the robe is cut up. Castor is using all her magical energy to heal herself, but I'm sure she would have died instantly if it were direct hit. That's right. Archer's arrow did not hit her. The arrow was shot into space far from Castor, and she had her protection destroyed by the after effects. The arrow missed. No, that's wrong. It didn't miss. It missed on purpose. I don't know what his intentions are. It was a big chance, but Archer missed Castor on purpose. Silence returns to the temple. In front of me are Archer and Castor who is glaring at Archer. It must have been a lot for him, as I only feel weak magical energy from Archer now. That goes for Castor as well. Even though it did not hit her, Archer's shot has taken away most of Castor's body and her magical energy. Even if there is a big pool of magical energy here, it's meaningless if what collects the energy, Castor, is damaged. Castor comes down without spirit. Not talking so big now, are you? She managed to form her body, but there's nothing inside. It should be impossible for her to continue fighting. It says it should be, but why do I have a feeling that there might be? She might pull out something here. Castor watches us while breathing heavily. I don't know why, but she's looking at both the servant that brought her down and at me.
あーちゃん、今の一撃、なぜ外したのです？
She asks in a weak voice. Archer shrugs as if saying the question is a wonder itself.
いや、試すのは一撃だけと言っただろう。初めの一撃はかわされたからな。その後はただのおまけだ。なんだ。それともまさか約束を違えても当ててほしかったのか？
He says such a ridiculous thing.
では、私を殺す気はなかったと？
つい挑発に乗っただけだ。私の目的はそこの男にあったからな。他のサーバントと戦うなど予定にはなかった。
He certainly didn't have any will to fight from the beginning.
そう。どうやら私と戦いに来たというわけではなかったよね、あーちゃん。
I thought the whole thing was Rin was saying how she wanted to take down the masters and everything, and he's just not going to when he could have easily finished her off, especially if she's such a danger to innocent people.
ああ、そこの男が腰抜けなのと同じでね。不必要な戦いは
The
避
thing
けるの
is,
が
if
主
you
義
want
だ。
to avoid meaningless battles, like if you could just finish her off, then you don't have to fight her again.
剣を取るときは必勝の好機であり、必殺を誓ったときのみだ。意味のない殺生は苦手でな。
What is so funny? Castor laughs from the bottom of her heart.
そう。ならあなたたちは似た者同士という
Right?
こと。
This is a whole thing where it's like, it feels like when you meet someone who is very much like you either like vibe with them super well or you just don't like each other. You just get on each other's nerves.
Huh?
We reply in unison. Alike? Me and Archer? What makes her say that?
違うのかしら。あなたたちは無益な殺生が嫌なのでしょ？そこの坊やは私のような無関係な人間を糧にするサーバントが許せない。あなたは無意味な殺戮は好まない。ほら、全く同じじゃない。だから手を組んでいるのではなくて？
どうしてそんなふざけた結論になる？お前目が腐ってるぞ。誰がこんな奴と一緒なもんか。
同感だ。平和主義者なのは同じだが根本が大きく異なる。 厄介事は早めに片付けるのが私の方針だ。この男のようにいつまでも悩んだりはしない。
何が平和主義者だ。俺は忘れてないぞ。お前はバーサーカーと一緒にセイバーを狙ったんだ。セイバー一人に戦わせて自分は安全なところにいたくせに。
仕方なかろう。あの時はまだ共闘関係ではなかった。セイバーの安全よりバーサーカーを倒すことが優先されただけだ。それとも何か目に映るもの全てを助けろなどというのではあるまいな。ならばバーサーカーとて倒す対象にはならないか。
We glare at one another. Man, I just can't get along with him. Why does everything he say get on my nerves? Then, Castor laughs even more seeing us like this.
気に入ったわ。あなたたちは力もそのあり方も希少よ。敵に回してしまうのは惜しい。
We're gonna bring her on the team. Let's cooperate. Come on. I tilt my head in wonder. Archer looks away from me and glares at Castor.
ちょっと待て。何が言いたいんだお前。
わからない？私と手を組みなさいと言っているのよ。私なら今のパートナーより優れたものを用意できるわ。坊やにはセイバー以上のサーバントを。
What? Excuse me? No.
アーチャーは今のマスターより優れた魔術師と契約できる。
My mind freezes. I question her sanity for asking such a question.
悪い話ではないはずよ。私にはこの戦いを終わらせる用意がある。言ったでしょ？勝つことなんてたやすいと。どう？生き残りたいのなら私に従うべきじゃなくて？
I don't even need to think about it. I decided to fight since I want to stop people like her who would involve innocent people. So I can never accept her offer.
断る。俺はお前みたいな魔女とは手を組まない。
I declare so. This is a natural response. I can't cooperate with this servant. More than anything, we won't betray our partners. I'll be fighting with Saber, and Archer will not do anything to betray Tohsaka. Maybe he's like, I'm in. Wait, why is he silent?
おい、アーチャー。
拒否する。君の力を借りる理由がない。
Is he angry that is Shiro angry that like he even had to think about it?
それ以前に君の陣営はいささか戦力不足だ。いかに勢力を伸ばそうとバーサーカー一人に及ばな
Oh,
い。
Shiro's gonna be mad. He's like, it's not even about like I won't betray Tohsaka. It's just like you're just too weak. I sigh with relief. I had a bad feeling, but he's not like that. I hate him, but he's still firm on his beliefs.
そう。交渉は決裂ということ。
そうだ。だがここで君と戦う気はない。こ
Oh,
の場に居合
so
わせたの
wow,
は
Rin doesn't even
私の
know.
独断でね。
Huh,
マスター
okay.
の命令ではないから君を撃つ理由はない。
But he said he came here for me,
ここは
so he sensed I
痛
was
み
here.
分けという
And
こと
also,
で手
why?
を打たないか。
I doubt my own ears. Did he just say he would let Castor go?
意外
Also,
ね。
how's Saber doing right now? Haven't
あ
heard
なた
from
の
her
マ
in a
スターは
while.
私を追っていたでしょ？なのにあなたは私を見逃すというの？
ああ、お前がここで何人殺そうが知らん。それは私には預かり知らぬことだ。
あら、ひどい男。毒は使いようということ？
私のマスターはマスター殺しに精力的でなくてね。その分お前が他のマスターを潰してくれるのなら何かと助かる。
Castor must have accepted it as she turns around.
待て、キャサ
I run to Castor, who's about to disappear, but Archer stops me.
バカカキ様、追えば確実に死ぬぞ。
He sounds calm. It's so true that I want to vomit from anger. I stop. Castor's black robe flutters in the wind and disappears. Alright, so let's check out. So we finally have the whole thing with the weapon, right? Archer's weapon. Konshu and Bakuya. Twin swords that Archer likes to use. Their rank as Noble Phantasm is C-. Ugh. Not very good. They are a pair of swords with a strong bond that will return to their owner even if events cause them to be lost. Their strength as swords is high, but they also serve as ceremonial equipment. When both are equipped, magical resistance and physical resistance improve. It might be Archer's taste, but words thought to be a charm against evil spirits are carved onto the blade. Divine skill, flawless and firm. Strength moves mountains. Blade cuts water. Life approaches the Imperial Villa. We embrace heaven together. Two great men share. Only Archer and I remain here. His figure just gets on my nerves. Archer has saved me twice already. Castor would have taken my command spell without him, and I'm sure I would have died from that rain of light. But this is different. I can't forgive him for letting Castor go.
Archer, なんでキャスターを逃がした？
戦う時ではなかったからだ。ここで切り伏せたところで、あれはすぐさま逃げおせただろう。今の空間転移、見逃したわけではあるまい。
That's certainly true. We wouldn't be able to get Castor if she really wanted to get away. After all, this is her territory. It's that witch. Even if she may have been weak, I'm sure she had at least one or two more tricks left up her sleeve.
理解できたらしいな。キャスターを倒すのなら、マスターが先なのだ。
Yeah, we gotta find out who the master is. So he's still alive. But I say he could be a she for all.
キャスターとて消えざるを得ないからな。
Going after the master and not the servant. That's the correct and safest approach to the Holy Grail War.
それは分かってる。けど、だからって見逃すのか。街で起きてる事件は全部あいつの仕業なんだろう。キャスターを止めない限り犠牲者は出続ける。俺は。
なぜ？お前自身が傷つくことではあるまい。むしろ、奴にはこのまま続けてもらいたいぐらいだ。キャスターは人々から正気を吸い上げ、その力でバーサーカーを倒す。
People affected is just collateral damage. It's for the greater good.
私とリンはキャスターは倒せるが、バーサーカーには及ばないのでな。バーサーカーを倒すまで、キャスターには好きにさせておくさ。
But it seems like, from what Castor was saying about how she's just basically staying up here, staying out of fights, it seems like she wants other people to take out Berserker. So it's kind of like we're at an impasse right now, where it's like she wants us to take out Berserker, we want her to take out Berserker. Meanwhile, Berserker's just running around, you know, probably killing people. My head heats up. I get so pissed off I want to punch Archer.
ふざけるな。トーサカ、そんな方針は取らない。
そうだな。だからこそ、キャスターには手早くことを済ませてほしいものだ。リンがキャスターに追いつけば、対決は避けられない。何人犠牲になるかは知らんが、それでバーサーカーが倒せるのならば安いものだろう。人間など結局は死ぬ生き物。誰にどう殺されようが結果的には変わるまい。キャスターも手ぬるい。いっそ魔力だけでなく命まで奪ってしまえばよいもの。街中の人間が死に絶えれば少しは戦いやすくなる。私のマスターも根は甘いからな。そうなればもはやなりふりなどに構ってはいられまい。
In this regard, the two of them, Archer and Shiro, couldn't be any more different. They're similar in quite a few ways, but the knight in red states with a smile. Maybe he's just saying this to piss Shiro off. I don't know. Like, does he truly believe this? He says it with delight, that the people here are only a bother. He's saying the same thing Castor said.
ああ、お前も知っての通り、リンは形式にこだわるタイプでね。魔術師としては申し分ないが、マスターとしては汚さに欠ける。そうだな。彼女がキャスターのようになってくれれば、私もここまで苦労はしないのだが。
お前!
I punch at Archer's face. Of course, it doesn't hit, as Archer avoids it without trouble.
何をする？私たちは協力関係ではなかったか？
ふざけるな。俺はお前と
Also,
は違う。
Saber? Is she still fighting assassin at this
結
point?
果のために周りを犠牲にするなんて、そんなこと絶対にするものか。
それは私も同じだ、エミヤシロ。だが全ての人間を救うことはできまい。例えばキャスターが聖杯を手に入れてしまえば被害はこの町だけにとどまるまい。それはイリアスフィールも他のマスターも同じだ。聖杯を私利私欲で使わぬマスターは私が知る限りお前とリンだけだからな。故に私たちが勝利しなければ被害はさらに大きくなる。ならばこの町の人間には犠牲になってもらい、私たちの役に立ってもらうしかあるまい。その結果で被害を抑えられるのならお前の方針と同じだろうさ。
My head is numb. He doesn't even need to tell me that. One cannot save everyone. Kiritsugu always said that. I was thinking, I was like, he sounds a lot like the old Kiritsugu, like when he was in the Holy Grail War and he was having Saber do stuff that she didn't agree with. Like, it's all about the greater good, like we need to sacrifice in order to save people. So I shouldn't feel anything, even if he says so, but it just pisses me off.
無関係な人間を巻き込みたくないと言ったな。ならば認めろ。一人も殺さないなどという方法では結局誰も救えない。キャスターの言う通り、残念ながら私たちは似た者同士だ。犠牲者を出したくないというのなら協力し合うしかあるまい。
違う。俺はお前なんかとは組まない。お前なんて絶対に認めない。
そうか。お前が信じたものはリンだけだったな。
I turn my back to Archer. I'm different from him. If I can't ignore Caster, there's only one thing I need to do.
まさかキャスターを追うつもりか。
I ignore him and keep walking. I'm heading inside the temple. Since this is Caster's territory, her workshop has to be inside the temple somewhere.
信じられんな。お前一人ではキャスターにかなうべくもない。
Maybe we could at least wait for Saber to finish her
命
fight?
が惜しいの
Check
な
up
ら
on her, maybe?
やめておけ。
Archer follows me as if he has more to say.
まったくせっかく助けてやった命を無駄にするのか。それは構わんが、せめて感謝の一言でも残したらどうだ。先ほどの女性は私なりの行為だったのだがね。命の恩人とまではいかないが、視線を共にくぐり抜けた友人ぐらいにはありがたがってほしいものだ。
Man, he's really getting on my nerves.
うるさい。誰がお前なんかに友情を感じるもんか。いいからさっさと遠坂のところに帰れ。頼まれたってお前の手助けなんていらないんだから。
I look away and walk towards the temple again. There,
そうか。懐かれなくて何よりだ。
a chilling intent to kill comes from behind me.
何？
I jump back as I turn around. At the same time, Archer swings his sword. Ooh. Good thing Saber wasn't here to see that. I'm cut at my shoulder. My blood comes flowing out, and my consciousness will fade away if I let my guard down. This is probably him just being like, I'm doing, like, he probably didn't mean to kill him. It's probably like, I'm just gonna hurt you enough that you can't go and do something stupid. Pain is so sharp that it feels like my body is burning. I back up with wobbling steps. It's not to run away. I just don't have any power, so my feet move back to try and keep my body upright.
外したか。さっき抑えきれなかった私
Oh,
の
okay,
落ち
never
度
mind. He did mean to
とっ
kill.
さに反応したお前の起点か。まあ、どちらでも構わないが。
Archer walks towards me with a sword wet with my blood. Shiro is the only person who could... He gets hurt by everybody, even by his own allies. I'll be killed. I feel that I will be killed, so I move my feet in desperation. Temple's exit. Slowly retreat, trying to make my way to the mountain gate. He must know this is a fatal wound. Archer walks toward me without hurry. This feels like a bad end, but there was no choices to be made, so this is just how the story is going. My mind is fading. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm heading to the mountain gate. I don't know why I was attacked. My mind is flowing out along with my blood. Maybe I'm still conscious because of the sword he's holding. The white short sword. The plain swords are captivating my eyes, and they're stopping me from closing them. Why is he so obsessed with his swords? There's got to be some sort of connection. But it comes to an end. The mountain gate is behind me when I realize. Even though the steps are somewhere behind me, I can't even turn around. It's because Archer will slash Emi Ashiro's body in half the moment I turn my back.
最後だ。戦う意義のないエミヤシロはここで死ね。
He raises his sword. The white yin sword is raised like a guillotine.
戦う意義だって。
そうだ。自分のためではなく、誰かのために戦うなど、ただの偽善だ。そんなもの、この世のどこにもありはしないというのにな。
I oppose Archer's words in my fading consciousness, but my body and mind are about to disappear.
さらばだ。理想を抱いて溺死しろ。
His voice is filled with hatred. He swings the yin sword, Bakuya. He aims for the wound on my shoulder to cut my body for sure this time. But right before that, of course, every time Shiro's about to die, somebody jumps in. I want to oppose him so much that I jump backwards. Oh, okay. Or Shiro just manages to pull out energy from nowhere and, and manage to save himself. His sword cuts through air and my body flies through the air. The bottomless darkness is behind me. A big impact. After that, my body rolls down the stairs. I hear an unfamiliar voice.
Shiro!
And I also hear a familiar voice. My vision is almost gone. I try to lift my body up and fall onto the steps.
Shiro, しっかり! 己、ここまでの傷を負わせて、なお階段から叩き落としたのか?
Is it Saber? Saber supports my body while she talks with urgency. But that's bad. I don't know who it is, but there's another servant here. She'll get attacked without being able to defend if she's so worried about me.
いいから。
黙って。まだ間に合います。シロの回復量ならこのまますぐに帰還すれば。
She must have realized after saying that much. Saber turns back to the servant still supporting me.
アサシ、なぜ私を撃たない？
Assassin, he's an honorable one.
それこそ無粋。刹那の花を摘むことなど誰にもできぬ。
Saber tilts her head in wonder, unable to understand her enemy's intention.
何？その横顔に見とれただけよ。果たし合う顔も良かったが、今の配置名を捨てなかったな。ついめでてしまったのだ。
Is it a kimono? The traditionally dressed servant turns his back.
今宵はこれで十分。立ち去るがいい、セイバー。
私たちを見逃すというのか、アサシ。
そうだ。この続き、いずれ果たすというのなら見逃そう。
Hey, Assassin might actually get some more screen time in this route.
今のお前では満足な戦いは望めまい。私とてそれは惜しい。
Saber glares at Assassin, and Assassin stares calmly at Saber. The breathtaking stare down continues for less than 10 seconds.
わかりました、アサシ。あなたとの決着は必ず。
良い返事だ。期待しているぞ、騎士王よ。
Saber goes down the steps with me in her arms, but I see the knight in red running from the mountain, determined not to let me go. This is gonna be awkward once we meet up with Rin again and be like, yeah, your servant tried to kill me. Saber says so in wonder. He said that he will kill only when he swears to kill, and there's no way Archer will let me go. If he used his sword to kill me, I'm sure he will kill me here no matter what. His red robe flutters like a wing. It doesn't matter if Saber's here or not. Archer jumps down and slashes his sword at me. Swords clash. The sword attacks with lightning speed. The intercepting blade parries Archer's attack and goes for his neck. Assassin stepped in? Yeah, probably like, only I want to fight her. You better not kill her before I get a chance to fight her again. Archer twists his body and lands back down. The knight in red cannot come down the steps, being blocked off by the servant in a kimono.
邪魔をするつもりか、侍。
Archer readies his twin swords and faces servant assassin. Assassin readies his sword as if nothing has happened.
それはこちらのセリフだ。貴様こそ見逃すと言った私の邪魔をするつもりか?
He says so with delight. I don't know what he's thinking, but he must really be letting us go.
加えて私の役割はここの門番だ。生きては倒産し、生きては返
Big
さ
talk, he's probably gonna get killed.
行きは見逃したが、帰りは別だ。いささか雅さにかける首だが、今宵はそれで収めるとしよう。
His intent to kill leaks out. Assassin's intent to kill is as sharp as his longsword. It's not overbearing like the ones Archer and Saber have. But an enmity, there is that word again, sharpened to the extreme, is going for the enemy's neck.
よく言った。セイバーに傷一つつけられなかったキャスターの手駒風情が、この俺と戦うと。
貴様こそ、あの女狐を驚かせようと送ったというのに、我が身可愛さで逃げ帰るとは失望したぞ。
They only confront each other for a short while. They attack each other with amazing techniques. And of course, we're gonna run away and we're not gonna get to see the fight. I'm fascinated by this scene. To be honest, I can't understand Assassin's technique. Even to my experienced eyes, it's way too fast and too sharp. But that's why I'm fascinated by his technique. The dancing twin swords. Archer is defending Assassin's incomprehensible attack with a technique I might be able to acquire. To be honest, you could say I admire it. He's fighting off Assassin's demonic technique with techniques only trained by his will, and not his natural talent. Damn, it's natural that he's strong. Strength unlike Tohsaka or Saber. All the training he went through because he's not extraordinary. He probably had nothing. That's why he took the small thing he had, trained it with all his might, and got it to that level. Sounds like Shiro, doesn't it? Where it's like Shiro basically trained himself. You know, his dad helped him, but like he did all of this himself.
Shiro, 今のうちにどちらにせよ、あなたの体を早く休ませなければ。
I come back to reality with Saber's voice. We leave the Ryudo temple with Saber carrying me. The clashing of assassin and archer can still be heard behind us. Like, it's gotta be his friend, right? Issei? Like, it's gotta be Issei. It is his temple, after all. Like, he has to know that this stuff is being set up here. I mean, he did say that caster, like in the last route, it was a woman who came to the temple and the dad let her stay, but I don't know, suspicious. My wound is almost healed by the time we get back.
セイバーとつながってるから、セイバーの治癒能力がついてきているんじゃない?
Of course, we don't get to see either of Assassin's fights. Maybe they'll flip back to it, but I doubt it. Tohsaka's guess might be right, as my wound heals faster when Saber's touching me.
それで、一体何があったのですか、シロ?
Saber demands an explanation once we get to the dojo after treating my wound and getting changed. I try to tell her all the important things. How I was controlled by Caster and went to the temple. The relationship between Caster and the coma incidents happening in town. How Archer came and saved me when my command spell was about to get taken away. And how Archer tried to kill me. You gotta be really annoying to someone when, like, he goes from saving you of his own free will to then turning around trying to kill you. Saber is pondering something. I'm sure she wants to first organize things in her head since so many things occurred in one night.
なるほど。では、アーチャーはキャスターを見逃したのですか?
ああ、見逃したさ。あいつは最低だ。いくら勝つためでも、キャスターみたいなやつを利用するだなんて。
It pisses me off again now that I recall it. Damn, I should have punched him in the face back then. Then, Saber has a weird expression.
セイバー、なんでそこで笑うんだよ。
いいえ、シローが人の悪口を言うなんて珍しいと思いまして。まだ数日ほどしかシローを見ていませんが、あなたはそんな風に陰口を言う人ではないと分かっていましたから。
Now that she mentions it, I contemplate my immature actions for complaining.
けどしょうがないだろ。アーチャーはそれだけのことを言ったんだ。あいつは何より相棒のトーサカをバカにしたんだぞ。
そうですね。ですがシロー、一つ尋ねますが、シローはアーチャーの裏切りが許せないのですか？どうもあなたは彼に気を
Right?
つ
He
けられ
seems
た
more
ことを
upset
怒
that
って
he
いるようには
insulted
見えます。
Tohsaka than for trying to kill him.
え
Oh, yeah. So the fact Archer tried to kill me would be betrayal. But that's...
それは違う。あいつは俺を裏切ったわけじゃない。初めからあいつとは何も約束していなかった。だからアーチャーが俺を襲ってもそれはありなんだと思う。
それはそうですが、まったくシローは不思議ですね。
She says so in utter amazement, but I think there's some friendliness in her tone.
結論から言うと、私もシローと同じです。キャスターは放置できませんが、アーチャーは非道ではないのでしょう。
ちょっと待て。人の話のどこら辺を聞いてた
You
んだよ。
think she would be opposed to him saying, like, I'm okay with sacrificing everybody in town if it means that we can, you know, kill Berserker?
すべてです。それを踏まえた上で、私もシローと同意見だと言ってい
I
ま
feel like
す。
there's more to it than that.
加えて、彼の嫌疑は清流でした。心によこしまなものがないのでしょう。舞うような剣撃は、
He's just
彼の
like a
人格を物語
misunderstood
っていると
character.
思
He
う。
seems really harsh on the outside, but deep down he's a good guy. I like it even less now. Something is wrong with Saber to praise him. First of all, Archer's technique is... No, I was crazy back then. He's like a yogurt that's about to expire compared to Saber.
何言ってんだ。あいつの剣なんて大したことない。不意打ちしたくせに俺一人殺し損ねたんだぞ。そんなんでよくサーバントを名乗れるってもんだ。
ええ。ですからシローも筋がいいのです。長く鍛えれば、アーチャーに届く技量になりましょう。
I can't object if Saber says so with a face like that. Anyway, it seems Saber approves of Archer's technique. I don't know why, but I don't like that fact.
セイバー、俺筋がいいって言ったな。
はい。長ずれば良い使い手となるでしょう。
決めた。なら傷が治り次第剣を教えてくれ。今までみたいな生き残るための鍛錬じゃなくて戦う方法を教えてほしい。
I hold Saber's hand and stare at her directly in her eyes.
あ、はい。シローがそういうのでしたら構いませんが。
Alright, I've no complaints if Saber can teach me. I won't make the same mistake I made tonight, and it's not like me to keep running away. And more than anything, I cannot lose to that guy who said we need more victims in order to reduce the number of victims. When I come to, I'm in a strange place. The barren land is endless, and I can't see past the horizon no matter how hard I try. The unceasing wind stirs up the golden sands, stinging my eyes. Yeah, it's interesting that he's getting visions of Archer, I assume. Before it was Saber, which is understandable, given it's his servant. So there must be some connection between Shiro and Archer, because it's almost like... At first, this route seemed like it was the Rin route, you know? It's like it was them... it focused on the two of them, but it seems almost like more it's developing the relationship between Shiro and Archer. I stand absent-mindedly in it all. There's no need to hurry. I know the scenery. I remember seeing it in a dream before. So I understand this is a dream and wait for the dream to end. I suddenly feel something strange on my arm. A metallic sound. I wonder what it could be and roll up my sleeve. There's my arm as the sword itself. I jump out of my futon. I check my right arm even before I notice I'm in my room. It's fine. My right arm is my right arm. It's not steel, nor is it sword. Well, we know about, like, that whole thing with his arm. It was in the fight with Gilgamesh last time, right? Where it's like we saw that it looked like little blades and stuff, like he was the sheath. I sigh with relief. I don't know why I saw a dream like that, but it might have to do with me making a contract with Saber.
機会があったらTohsakaに聞いてみるか。と、それより朝飯の支度をしないと。
I mean, it could still be Saber's, but it feels like that's Archer, not Saber. It's before 6 o'clock. Even though Sakura won't be here, Saber and Fujini are still here. It's too late if I'm going to make breakfast for 3. I head to the living room quietly. I stop and try to figure out how they're doing on the other side of the shoji. I hear Fujini's half-asleep breathing and Saber's regular breathing. I must have let my guard down as I try to imagine how it looks in there. I hide my blushing face with my hand and breathe in the cold air.
修行不足だ。朝飯にしよう。朝飯。
I shake my head and walk away, but it's not good for my mental health to have girls staying in the same house as me.
それじゃ先に行くけど、一人だからって遅刻してダメよ。
はいはい。藤姉こそ朝のお勤め頑張ってくれ。
ありがとね。シロ、朝ごはん美味しかったよ。
Fujini bows and heads to school.
さて。
I still have about 30 minutes. I'm already done cleaning up, so I'll act on the decision I made yesterday. The wounds and bruises from last night have healed. I have some time, so I go and train with Saber. The sounds of our Shinai echo. The clashings sound rather impressive. I guess I can't take the phrase learning by watching others too lightly. Just imagining a role model makes my Shinai lighter and easier to handle. As usual, Saber is repelling my attacks without losing her breath. But is something wrong with her this morning? Until yesterday, I would have received a counterattack and been knocked unconscious the instant she parried me. But her counters are avoidable today if I become desperate. Well, by avoidable, I mean I don't get knocked unconscious. Saber's counters are still very effective. I put my Shinai down and take a breath. The clock is already pointing at 8 o'clock. It's been an hour since I started fighting Saber. It's true that Saber wasn't up to par, but I could react better to Saber's attacks, and I was so into it that I forgot about time.
いや汗かいた。けどセイバー、今朝はどうしたんだ？なんか昨日に比べて厳しさを感じなかったけど。
そのようなことはありません。私は昨日と同じように打ち合いました。それを軽く感じたのは、シロの技量が上がっているからです。
技量が上がってるって。
Saber nods. It doesn't seem like flattery, and Saber's not one who'd say such things.
それは本当に？
驚きました。シロの技量は昨日とは別人です。
そうかな。いや、そんなことはないだろう。単にセイバーの調子が悪かっただけだ。昨日の今日で腕前が上がったりしたら、
Maybe it was the encounter, maybe something with Archer. Maybe like when he slashed me, maybe he did something to make me stronger somehow. Maybe he was trying to help in a way, even though it seemed like he was trying to kill me. I don't know. I don't know what to make of Archer.
それは同感ですが、そうですね。具体的に言うと、型に無駄がなくなりました。シロはもともと体は出来上がっていますから、適した剣筋を身につければ、それだけで一段階上の剣士になれるのです。
型に無駄がなくなった。
Come to think of it, my body did move well this morning. It felt like my Shinai automatically parried Sabers, even though my body couldn't react to it.
単にあいつの真似をしただけなんだけど。
やはりそうでしたか。私に指示すると言っておいて、アーチャーの剣筋を手本にしたわけですね、シローは。
She must have already known, and she glares at me.
やっぱりわかるのか、そういうの。
当然です。もともとシローには基本となる型がありませんでしたから。
It's like he hates Archer, but he's
それに筋が
copying
一
his
つ通れ
style.
ば、
It's like he's trying to be
誰が
like
見ても
Archer.
わかります。
She looks away as if she's disappointed.
いや、セイバーをないがしろにしたわけじゃないんだ。ただ、昨日はずっとあいつといたから頭にこびりついたっていうか。
She's like, I've been with you too, for most of the time.
いいえ、私に断らずとも結構です。シローが強くなる分には私も文句はありませんから。
Liar. Yeah, that's the face of when someone says that they're fine and they're not fine. What is it with that disappointed face?
だからすまなかったって。それにな、セイバーを手本にするって言っても、俺にはセイバーがどうやって反撃してくるのか見えないんだぞ。体格も違うし、手本にするのは無理があるだろ
う。なかなかに正論です。では、私はあくまであなたの練習相手ということですね。
Ugh, I feel like I've gotten myself into a deep hole.
いい。この件について追求するのはやめよう。とにかく、少しは俺だって戦えるようになったってのは確かなんだから。
何を言うのです。確かにシローの技量は上がりましたが、それはあくまで最低限戦えるというレベルです。私やアーチャー、バーサーカーと向き合えるものではないのですから、間違っても単独で戦闘など挑まないでください。
Saber declares so. It seems like she's a master that is remonstrating an elated student, and it brings a smile on my face. How charming can this cute master be? I get to school an hour late. The hallway's filled with students because it's break time. Oh yeah, like we're gonna see Shinji at some point, huh? That's gonna be awkward. And also, it feels like I haven't seen Rin in a while. Class must have just ended for 2C as many familiar people are coming out of the classroom.
よ、お疲れ。なんか知らねえけど、タイガー怒ってたぜ。4次元目は覚悟しとけとさ。
そうか。今日の授業、英語があったっけ?
I greet the classmate that gives me the ominous news. The instant I get to the door to go into my classroom. And there's this guy. This guy that like barely showed up in the last one. Now he seems to be, I don't know, maybe he's just a more important character this time? The world history teacher comes out.
おはようございます、先生。
遅刻かエミヤ。今日の授業は試験範囲を確認したものだ。後で友人にきちんと聞いておくように。
はい。どうも遅れてすいません。
Kuzuki nods and leaves. He's Kuzuki Shiro, the iron teacher that teaches world history and philosophy, and is also in charge of the student council. He's just as he looks, and he's a rare teacher that gains popularity as the students progress through school. Really? Doesn't seem like the type to me. Seems like the one everybody would be afraid of. I go to my desk while greeting my classmates. For a few seconds I regret I was late.
やあ、随分と遅い到着だね。
Someone greets me, so I turn around. Then, there's Shinji, strangely friendly.
シンジ? どうしたんだよ。お前、どっか変だぞ。寝不足か?
I tell him what I'm thinking. He completely changes and glares at me, then he smiles again. Shinji was strange yesterday, but he's even stranger today.
シンジ、お前、まさか襲われたのか? バカ。だから言っただろう。戦わないんなら家で身を守っているべきだって。
うるさいな。何偉そうな口聞いてるんだよ、お前。
シンジ。
何？それともトーサカと仲良くやっていい気になってんの？勘違いするなよな。トーサカと手を組んだところでお前が強いってわけじゃない。強いサーバントを手に入れて嬉しいのはわかるけどさ、思い上がるのはみっともないよ。
Shinji glares at me. It doesn't seem like he has much composure.
まあいい。君が来てくれてよかったよ。ほら、エミヤが来ないんじゃさ、面白みに欠けるだろ。
That must be all he wanted to say as Shinji goes back to his seat, chuckling. Ew, it would be boring if you didn't come. Does that mean that is he setting up that boundary field? Is that going to be happening today? That seems pretty soon. Like in the last one, we at least had kind of a timeline of when it was going to happen, because Rin said like it should take about 9 days or whatever for it to finish. Now on this one, I have no idea. Classroom gets loud once it's lunchtime. Oh, Issei. I feel like Issei's got something to do with this. He must have gone to the student council room again because of his lack of sleep. And there's that. Like maybe he's Caster's master. And maybe she has him kind of like, that's why he's so drained, is like she's affected his energy level, so he can't really like go against her wishes. Maybe she's drained his magical energy. I think Issei is going to be Caster's master. Now, well, except I'm trying to think in the last game, or like in the last route, did we stop seeing Issei at some point? Because Caster, I believe, said that she killed her master. Like, did we see Issei after that? I don't know. No mention of it. No mention, I don't think of like, oh, and I haven't seen Issei in a while. What's going on with that? Could be mistaken, but I don't think so. I made lunch today, so I would like to avoid eating in the classroom. Huh? The guys in the classroom are making a commotion. I call out to them. The guys that are secretly talking look at me with suspicious eyes.
何かあったではござらん。それ、教室の外を見てみるがよい。ただしこっそり、あくまで隠密。
Goto must have watched some strange TV program last night. Then, outside the classroom in the hallway is a person that is acting more suspiciously than Goto and the others.
三重の遠坂だよな。うちのクラスに何か言おうかな。
間違いござらん。先ほどから盗み見ていたが、あちらも同様の草っぷり。さりげなく、しかし大胆に我らが教室を覗いておる。ドアの前を通り過ぎるのも7回目。いや、今ので8回目よ。
だよな。こうなると偶然じゃねえ。つうかさ、なんか目つき悪くねえか？遠坂さん、もっとこう、普段は涼しげな顔してない？
あ、お前もそう思う？こう通りがかるたびに目尻が上がってんだよな。近寄りがたくなってく一方だ。ありゃイライラしてるね。なんか気に食わないことでもあったんかな。
待ち人来たらずというより、待ち人気づかずというところ。こう、誕生日にこっそりプレゼントを仕掛けておいたのに、送られたやつは1年経っても気づかないんで、もうブチ切れ寸前といったところであろ
う。後藤ってさ、時々すごい表現するよな。的確すぎ。何？お前、前世は軍師か何か？
The guys are saying whatever they want. I timidly look out into the hallway again. She's pissed. I don't know what she's mad about, but I think Goto-kun is right. Well, what should I do? Oh, okay. Let me just take a quick look. I didn't realize that there was going to be a choice coming up, so let me just see what I have to pick. Alright, well apparently it's my choice, but I feel like she wants to see me, so I will go out there. Tohsaka must want to talk to me, but I'm curious why she's acting that way. Considering Tohsaka, she'd drag me out if she had business with me. So why is she acting like an ordinary schoolgirl?
放っておきたいけど、そうはいかないよな。何より後が怖い。
I get up with my lunchbox. I prepare myself for the questioning I'll get from Goto-kun and the other guys after I get back.
遠坂、何してんだよ、こんなところで。
何って散歩に決まってるじゃない。お昼なんだから昼食をとるのは当然でしょ。
Tohsaka's acting too suspicious. She's restless and doesn't try to look me in the eyes.
そっか、そりゃ当然だ。じゃ、いい場所を探してくれ。俺は生徒会室で飯を食うから。
I wave her goodbye and turn around.
ちょっと待ちなさい。あんたわざとやってるでしょ。
I turn around.
あのな、登坂。何があったか知らないが、そんなんじゃわからない。言いたいことがあるんならはっきり言えよ。
Tohsaka's looking at me hesitantly. Could it be?
昼飯代忘れたのか。弁当はやらないけど、サンドイッチ代ぐらいでいいんなら貸してやるぞ。
なわけないでしょ、このアンポンタン。
Tohsaka barks out. The hallway goes quiet. After a few seconds, everything resumes as if nothing has happened. I see. Everyone protected their reality by ignoring what happened. There's no way the perfect, beautiful honor student, the school idol Tohsaka Rin, would scream out the word idiot in the hallway. Therefore, what happened in the past minute was completely erased from their memory. I envy them. I want to amend my memory from about 4 days ago.
で、昼飯代じゃないんなら何なんだよ、登坂。
そのお昼ご飯なんでしょ。それだったらついてくる。生徒会室よりずっといい場所知ってるんだから。
Tohsaka says so while looking at me from time to time. Oh, she just wants to talk to me because she wants to have a strategic meeting. Oh, I don't think that's the case, Shiro. Wait, this is a better place?
寒い。
The rooftop is mercilessly cold. The rooftop would be filled with students enjoying the wind and the scenery during summer, but it's completely isolated during the winter.
寒い。
I say it one more time. It's an honest opinion as well as an objection made to the person next to me.
何よ、男の子でしょ。これぐらい我慢しなさい。
My objection is dismissed in a flash.
エミヤくん、こっち。ここなら風も来ないし、人目にもつかないわ。
She must not intend to look at me as she moves in a hurry. I eat my lunch. She must have called for me since she wanted to talk to me, but she doesn't say anything at all. And when I take a peek at her, she's looking at me as if she wants to say something. I keep eating my lunch. I won't be able to keep my sanity unless I do so. I don't care that it's cold or that there's no conversation. It's just that this is really troubling. There are limited places to get away from the wind, so inevitably, Tohsaka's eating her bread right next to me. We're so close that our shoulders would touch if I moved a bit. Doesn't this look like we're eating lunch together? I try hard to keep my face from blushing. Damn, why didn't I realize it when she invited me in the hallway? It's only natural I can't calm down. The person next to me is a girl I admired, even though she's my ally now. I can't say this no matter what, since Tohsaka would just laugh it off, but I really wish she'd be more considerate. My chopsticks hit the bottom of my lunchbox. I'm done eating. I can't help it, so I start cleaning up. Tohsaka must have already finished eating as she's watching me awkwardly. Damn, lunch break will be over in a few minutes. I guess I'll have to ask her what we'll do after school today.
なあ、登坂。
We speak out at the same time, and on top of that, our eyes meet for the first time today.
いや、別にない。登坂こそ。
話があるなら先にどうぞ。
言ってくれ。
We talk at the same time again and avert our gazes from embarrassment. And silence follows. The end of lunch break is nearing. I'm relieved and disappointed we might have to go now. Then...
その、昨日の夜はごめん。
Tohsaka murmurs in an apologetic tone.
だから昨日のこと、あーちゃんには0時を使っといたから。そんなんで今更済ませれないけど、ごめん。
What? Whoa, so that was the thing where he just said, like, when he said he came to help me out. I thought he was doing that of his free will, but no, I guess she told him to go save me. My thought process stops. What happened last night? Archer tried to kill me. Oh, that's... So what? Okay, I thought the command spell was to go and save Shiro, but... Oh wait, no, Archer said that Rin, like, didn't know about this, so he inevitably... Wait, I'm so confused, but then how would Rin... No... Okay, I'll let her explain. Archer tried to kill me, and Tohsaka said she used a command spell on him.
Tohsaka? それはつまり
ええ、協力関係にある限り絶対にエミヤ君を襲うなってレイジュで命令したわ。だから今後は昨日みたいなことは起きないから。
That helps me out. It does, but she used one of her only 3 command spells on such a thing.
そうか。けどそれは遠坂が謝ることじゃないだろう。あれはあいつが勝手にやったことだ。遠坂だってあいつが何をしていたのか知らないんだろ
う。うん。けどだからって無関係じゃない。昨日のことはあいつに自由行動させた私の責任よ。
She says so with a downcast look. The gesture is unlike Tohsaka. I like that fact less than the fact Archer attacked me.
わかった。遠坂がそう言うんならそういうことにする。けどよくアーチャーが話したな。
Right, I was thinking, it's like, why would he blab about that? He knows that she'd be pissed about that.
そうね。けど自分のサーバントが傷を負って帰ってきて、しかも魔力が空っぽなら何かあったって思うでしょ。あいつ隠し事はするけど嘘はつかないから。何をしてきたのか尋ねたらあっさり白状しやがったわよ。
She must be getting mad as she's recalling it.
お、調子が戻ってきたな。よかった。そうでなくちゃ遠坂じゃない。
ちょっとそれどういう意味よ。
いいからいいから。それでアーチャーは？
家に置いてきた。なんか昨日から様子がおかしいし、昨日の今日でエミヤ君に合わせるのもあれでしょ。
True, I don't want to see him either. I'm sure we'll just insult each other if we see each other again.
そっか。けど遠坂、あいつが俺を襲った理由は何だったんだ？
それが敵は少ない方がいいだって。エミヤ君はどうでもいいけど、セイバーは後々厄介になるから今のうちに潰しておくべきだとかなんとか。昨日みたいに簡単に他のマスターに操られると迷惑だから、ここで切り捨てた方がいいって判断したんだって。
Damn, I can't object to that. I'm certainly a bother as I almost fell for Caster's trap. He must have determined I'm a burden the instant Caster controlled me.
納得いった。それじゃ、この話はこれで終わりにしよう。俺だって悪いところはあったし、そもそもあいつがいなかったら今頃どうなってたか
I don't know,
わ
it
から
didn't
ない。
seem like that was the case. It was more like when he decided he was going to go after Caster after all that business when Archer said to let her go. That seemed to be the moment that he turned on Shiro, because if he truly saw Shiro as a burden, he would have killed him like right after that whole encounter with Caster.
ほら、愛子ってことで帳消しじゃないか。遠坂がそう気に病むことはないぞ。
うん。そう言ってくれると助かるけど。
She looks away awkwardly. She must not be able to agree easily because of her strong sense of responsibility.
お、ちょうどよくチャイムが鳴ったな。
The bell rings to tell us lunch break is over. I couldn't tell how my lunch tasted, but this was fun in its own way.
中に戻ろう。5次元目、遅れるぞ。
I get up and head to the door, but Tohsaka's still sitting down.
遠坂、チャイム鳴ったんだが。
She doesn't answer, but looks at me like she wants to say something.
少し付き合いなさいよ。一つぐらいサボっても平気でしょ。
Then she says something that an honor student would never say. The bell rings to signal the start of 5th period, but what are we doing? Drinking hot coffee here like this. By the way, I went and bought the coffee in a flash.
授業開始まで5分あるでしょ。1階の購買からここまで5分もあれば十分じゃないかしら。
It's because of the demonic request made by Tohsaka.
それで、エミヤ君はどうなの？
ああ、魔術を習い始めた頃か。 確かそんなもんだよ。2年近く親父に無理を言ってようやく教えてもらえたんだ。
じゃあ足掛け8年か。エミヤ君のお父さんも随分と半端なことするのね。どうせ教えるんなら生まれた時から手を加えればよかったのに。8年前って言えばもう二次成長期後でしょ。そんなに大きくなったら刻印を刻むこともできないし、体もいじれないじゃない。
Tohsaka says dangerous things with a serious face. Well, I know this is her part of her as a magus.
まあな。前にも言ったけど、親父は俺に魔術を教えるつもりはなかったんだ。だからそういう遠坂みたいにちゃんとした手順は踏まなかったんだよ。というか、生まれた時から手を加えるって何さ。
言葉通りの意味よ。歴史が古くなればなるほど、その家系の魔術刻印は大きくなる。魔術刻印は形になった魔術回路だから、ほんの少し体に刻むだけで人間の体が拒否反応を起こしてものすごく痛むのよ。で、それを少しでも和らげるために子供の頃から少しずつ移植していくってわけ。ついでに中身も無理が効くように苦い薬草やら怪しげな骨を砕いた粉とか飲み続けて体に耐性を作っておくの。まあ魔術使いであるエミヤ君には関係のない話だからあんまり気にする必要はないわ。今から無理して真似されても困るし。
言われなくてもそんな気はないよ。けど遠坂は大丈夫なのか。なんか聞くだけで痛々しいんだが、
I can't put it into words properly. I don't know what you would call a normal magus teacher, but I felt a pressure when I went to Tohsaka's house. A family that passes on a long history, children that have the duty to succeed from the time they're born, secluded from the normal world, disregarding their will. I bite my lip, trying irresponsibly to think how long and heavy it is.
そういう心配なんてしてるんだ、エミヤ君は。
なんだよ、その意味ありげな顔は。別に俺心配なんてしてないからな。
当然よ、心配なんてされる覚えはないもの。私は好きでやってきたんだから、そこに後悔なんてないしね。そのあたりエミヤ君も同じなんじゃない？
なんでそこに俺が出てくるんだ？
Wait, the same? Me and Tohsaka?
まったく、本当に自分のことはわからないのね、あんたって。確かに私の修行は大変だったわ。けど逃げ出したいなんて思ったことはなかった。それはエミヤ君も同じでしょって言ったの。
それはそうだけど、俺は遠坂ほどきついことは要求されなかったし。
バカ言わないでよ。9年間まっとうに育っておいて、それから魔術を習うなんて正気じゃないわ。エミヤ君の日課がどんなものかは知らないけど、それよっぽど危険な鍛錬なはずよ。失敗したら命がないっていうぐらいギリギリのライン。
いや、それは俺が未熟なだけであって、本来ならそういう危険なものじゃないんだ。遠坂と比べることなんてできない。
そうね、私だってあなたと比べることはできないもの。魔術の鍛錬なんてね、結局はそういうものよ。唯一共通なのは命を計りにかけてるってこと。計りには個人差があるけど、要はその計りをどれほど傾けられるかでしょ。その点で言えば、あなたは私なんかよりずっと厳しい。私、死ぬような鍛錬なんてしたことないもの。そもそも失敗することがないし。
うわ、言い切ったな、今。
She casually says something that hurts me. In other words, she said she doesn't understand how we feel when we fail.
ほら、そこすねない。今の褒めたんだから。
テストでいつも100点取ってるやつに、今回はよくできましたなんて褒められても嬉しかないやい。
今回はなんて言ってないわよ。要するにね、確かに教えは厳しかったけど辛くはなかったってこと。だから逃げ出さなかったし、今もずっと続けている。それ？
Tohsaka says it was hard, but not harsh. I think she's right. I didn't feel that my training was harsh, nor severe. No, I didn't have any composure to think about such a thing. I just wanted to catch up to Kiritsugu. I want to be like Kiritsugu someday. I kept on training to be the superhero that he couldn't be. Come to think of it, most of my memories are about training in the shed. But I've never regretted it. I've always believed that it's the most important thing for me.
そうか。言われてみればそうだな。俺もそれなりにやってきたってことか。
そういうこと。エミヤ君は独学でここまで来たんだから、もっと自信を持ちなさい。
That's like what they said about Archer, where it's just like he did all that stuff on his own. Tohsaka tells me to be proud. I'm a bit embarrassed. It's more embarrassing if she's getting happy about it, as if it's her own accomplishment.
さて、話がまとまったところで少しは真面目な話をしよっか。協力者としてお互いの特技は知っておかないとね。
特技？ああ、使える魔術のことか。そんなの今更だろう。遠坂は俺の魔術を知ってるじゃないか。
ええ、エミヤ君の魔術は強化だっけ？珍しいとまでは言わないけど、メインに据えてる魔術師はそう多くないじゃない？それが不思議だったのよ。あなた、どうして強化にこだわるわけ？
いや、単にそれしか使えないんだよ。いろいろ試したけど、強化ぐらいしかできなかった。
The rest is basic stuff like making a blueprint and such. This isn't something we have to talk about now.
そう。私のところは転換かな。力の蓄積、流動、変化ってところ。そのあたりを基本にして有名どころの魔術は抑えてある。結界作りも教室ぐらいの広さなら形だけは整えられるわ。
Conversion of power. That's the most basic and most all around. In other words, she can put magical energy into any container and transform it.
そっか。けど、遠坂、教えてくれるのは嬉しいけど、自分の魔術をばらしていいのかよ。
前にエミヤ君、私に教えてくれたでしょ？なのに私だけ隠してるのはフェアじゃないから。
Saying so, Tohsaka holds out her left arm.
この前見せたけど、これが私の魔術刻印。遠坂の家に伝わるのは転換の技法でね。自分でも他人でもともかく力を移し替えたりするのが得意なわけ。普通魔力っていうのは体外に出すと消えるでしょ。魔力だけで神秘は起こせない。外に出して魔力が消えてしまう前に魔力によって魔術っていう式を発動させる。だから魔術にしていない純粋な魔力は移し替えるのが難しいんだけど。
She stops there and takes a small rock out of her pocket. Is it a jewel? The transparent polyhedron reminds me of a kaleidoscope.
例外として私は他のものに自分の魔力を蓄積できる。いいえ、自分の魔力だけじゃなくて他の術者の魔力だって保存できるし、難しいけど移し替えられるのは魔力だけじゃないわ。で、その保存場所に一番相性がいいのが宝石なの。宝石が想念をためやすい場、流れをとどめる牢獄ってことは知ってるでしょ。加えてずっと地中で眠っていた鉱石には強い自然霊が宿っている。そういった宝石は魔力を込めるだけで簡易的な魔術刻印になるのよ。まあ宝石である以上、一度でも込められた魔力を解放すれば壊れちゃうんだけど。
Tohsaka shrugs and puts away the jewel.
なんだ、もったいない話だな。一度使ったら壊れるってなくなるってことだろ。宝石なんて高いもの、その度に補充するのか？
そうなのよ。おかげでうちは年中金欠でさ。遠坂の魔術師は後継ぎになったらまずお金を稼ぐところから。
そうか。問題ってのは人それぞれなんだな、遠坂。
She looks away as if she said too much. Yeah, I think so every time I see her, but I think Tohsaka is rather foolish. The 5th period is about to end. Tohsaka's explanation has ended, so I decide to ask her about another magus, about Shinji.
なあ、Tohsaka。シンジの家、マトウの家が魔術師の家系だって言うんだけど、知ってたか？
ええ、知ってたわ。けどマトウ家はここ数十年で衰退したって父さんが言ってた。今のマトウ家には魔術師としての血脈はないって。それは本当。だからシンジがマスターになったって聞いて驚いたけど。
I see. So she did know, huh? That's to be expected because she supervises this land and knows about all the magi with the history that lives here. So she should know that Shinji's a master. Wait, hold on.
Tohsaka, シンジがマスターだって知ってたのか？
ごめん。私も今朝知ったのよ。シンジがマスターになるわけないって鷹をくくってたのが裏目に出たみたい。
Tohsaka says so as if it's nothing. That's strange. She's looking for the 3rd master at our school, but it seems like she's not considering Shinji to be a problem at all.
Tohsaka, シンジはそのマスターなんだろ？
ええ、けど別にどうってことないでしょ。シンジ自身に魔力はないんだし、そう大それたことはできないわ。私たちの敵は学校に潜んでいるマスターだもの。シンジはマスターとしての気配もないし、私たちが探している相手とは別物よ。
But what are the odds that his 2 friends
すごい4人の
are
マスターがいるって
both
ことか。
masters?
そうなるんじゃない？まあ、シンジにはおとなしくしておけって言ったから邪魔されることはないでしょうけど。
She makes another worrisome statement. No, first of all, how did Tohsaka find out that Shinji's a master?
Tohsaka, ちょっと今朝の話を詳しく聞かせてくれ。
詳しくも何もシンジの方から話しかけてきたのよ。僕もマスターになったから2人で手を組まないかって。
I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this, but I can't stop her here.
続き、その続きはどうした？
続きも何も当然断ったわ。だっていうのにあいつしつこく食い下がってくるんだもの。ついシローがいるからマトウ君はいらないって言っちゃった。
That face. Tohsaka laughs as if it's a funny story. That must be why Shinji was acting strange today. But
それでTohsakaはどうするんだ？シンジを放っておくのか？学校の結界ってシンジが張ってるんだろ？
Tohsaka freezes. I thought so. She didn't know Shinji made the boundary field, huh?
違うんだTohsaka。確かにシンジは魔術師じゃない。けどあの結界はシンジが張ったものだ。
It's weird. You don't think that Tohsaka would be the type to overlook stuff like that. You think she would,
魔術に長けているんじゃないか。
you know, she would be on the safe side and taking like all proper measures to make sure that like she's aware of everything. That must hit her pretty hard that Shiro knew something that she didn't. Tohsaka grows pale.
Tohsaka, お前気づいてなかったのか？
おう、あの結界がサーバントによるものだって気がついてたけど。
She couldn't make the connection to Shinji, huh? I recall how Tohsaka was acting until now. I bet Tohsaka was so worried about what happened last night she couldn't think about Shinji. It must be the biggest mistake she's made in her life. And what did she say? I don't fail.
まずい。下手したらシンジのやつ。
She gets up instantly and glares at the exit. And Shinji said something like, well, I'm glad you made it to school today. That's going to make things interesting or something like that. So he might set it off today. At that instant, yep, here we go. The disorder is revealed as if it were carefully timed.
結界
The sky is tinted red. My body is numbed just by breathing in the red air surrounding the school. It doesn't affect magi that can create magical energy inside their bodies, but people with scarce magical energy will faint just by breathing it in and should eventually die.
Tohsaka!
分かってる。急ぐわよ、シロ。
Alright, well, that was certainly an interesting episode. So we had Archer actually coming in to save Shiro. Not even because Rin told him to. Somehow, like, Archer seemed to know that Shiro was in trouble, despite the fact that he's not his servant, so I feel like that just kind of makes more of a point that the two of them seem to be connected somehow. But, you know, it seemed like maybe they were going to be getting along. Maybe Archer actually liked Shiro in a way because he came to help him. Even if he did it just because, like, they're supposed to be working together. But that was undone by Shiro deciding to go after Castor when Archer just let her go. And Archer just like, alright, fine, Shiro, I'm gonna kill you. Like, where did that come from? So that will certainly make things awkward between Shiro and Archer, even more so, considering that we're, like, supposed to be working together. And it seems like Rin, she made a little bit of an oopsie. She kind of wrote Shinji off as, like, not too much of a, I guess someone, like, not someone that they have to worry about too much. But that was quickly proven to be the wrong choice because now the boundary field has been set up in their school. And as we know from the last routes, it did not go well. So they have to try and stop him once again. It'll be interesting to see how we take care of things this time. So excited to see the showdown between Shiro, Rin, and Shinji. So we'll have to see what happens next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned next time. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Emily Hornsby, Zorn Ether, Revealing Storm, Asborn Kennedy, Icognito, Harry Gazif, and Jared Fan.